Section 7.2, Complex Patterns of Inheritance. In the last chapter, we were talking about Mendel's findings with his patterns of inheritance, which were correct, but they didn't explain all variations. Mendel focused on complete dominance, where he had the either-or traits. It was either purple flowers or white flowers, or tall plants or short plants. Sometimes it takes a bit more explanation when we get some things that are a little bit more complex. Something like incomplete dominance, where it's not an either-or trait, but it's like a blending of traits. Or codominance, where both traits are expressed. Polygenic traits, or inheritance. Polygenic means many genes, as opposed to one gene controlling the trait. Polygenic would be many. Multiple alleles. Multiple alleles would be more than two alleles. Like with Mendel's studies, we had a dominant or recessive. Multiple alleles, so it could be more than two versions of the allele. Epistasis, where one gene will mask or block the effects of others, and then how the environment can contribute to phenotypes or the expression of a gene in organisms as well. All 5 of these, or all 6 of these, we'll be talking about in this chapter. So this first complex pattern of inheritance is called incomplete dominance. A heterozygous genotype would be somewhere between the two homozygous genotypes. So, for example, with this, neither allele completely dominant is completely dominant or recessive. With this genotype, capital R would give red flowers. Little r would give white flowers. But the heterozygous, big R, little r, would give pink flowers, which is a kind of a cross or a blending between the red and white flowers. So incomplete. Neither allele is dominant, where you get a blended third phenotype or an intermediate phenotype between the two. Codominance is a little bit different. Again, neither allele is dominant nor recessive, but both alleles are fully and separately expressed, or equally expressed at the same time. With this, capital R gives red, capital W gives white, and the heterozygote, the big R or big R, big W, would give a red and white spotted flower, where both of these, red and white flower color, is expressed in the heterozygote. So codominance, both are expressed fully and separately. Polygenic traits, or polygenic inheritance, is a trait that is produced by 2 or more genes working together to give you the particular phenotype. 2 or more locations on a chromosome combine to give you one trait. In humans, eye color. Right? We have a bunch of different genes that are contribute to eye color, which gives us all the different versions of it. We have pretty blue down to very dark brown, and kind of everything in between. So with polygenic traits, what you're getting is something called continuous variation, where there's a whole bunch of variants in that particular trait, from, in this case, pretty light eyes to very dark eyes, and everything in between. Polygenic traits are a trait produced by 2 or more genes. So 2 or more genes on the chromosomes combine to give you the trait, the expression of the trait. Multiple alleles, an organism receives 2 alleles for each trait, one from mom and one from dad. But in multiple allele traits, there are more than 2 versions of the allele to choose from. They're not an either-or trait. For example, in human blood type, we have these alleles. I superscript A, I superscript B, or lowercase I. And what you get is, you can get 4 different blood types, or 4 different phenotypes for blood. You can get type A, you can get type B, type AB, or type O. Now what happens with this is, if you have I This is an uppercase A with it, I, uppercase A. That is a dominant. It's going to be expressed if you have it. Okay, so if you get IA like this, you would be dominant for blood type A and you blood type A. Blood type A also is given by this I superscript A lowercase I, because lowercase I has no antigens with it, nothing that's going to be rejected by the immune system. Okay, and what you get is these two different genotypes, AA or AO, but they both give you blood type A. B works the same way, so you can have this, IB, or IB lowercase I. It'll give you blood type B, so homozygous B or heterozygous BO. AB is co-dominant, so both the A and B antigen would be expressed in blood type AB. And O, there's nothing, there's no antigen there, there's no A marker or a B marker, it's just lowercase I, and that gives you blood type O. With the blood types, it tells you what they can receive from. O negative is what's called the universal donor. O can give to any of the blood types, AB, or O. A can receive from A or O. B can receive from B or O. AB can receive from AB, type A, type B, type AB, or type O. It's called the universal receiver, and blood type O can only get from type O. If you get the wrong blood type, your body will reject it. There'll be a big immune system attack on those improper blood cells that have been given, and your body would reject them. Specifically, epistasis is when one gene interferes with or cancels the expression of others. Best example of this is in mice fur color. There are two genes that would indicate color in mice. One gene indicates the shading of the fur color, and one gene indicates the spots. The fifth gene, if inherited, cancels out all the others, and what you get is this albino mice, white fur, pink eyes, no pigment forms from it, because it has this epistatic gene that blocks or cancels out the expression of the four others. If this one is not present, then the mouse will just get its normal coloring, normal shading, and normal spotting. But if it gets this fifth epistatic gene for albinism, it would block that out, and you would get this guy. The last thing that contributes to expression of phenotype is the environment. Okay, genes, the genes that you're inherited from your parents, and the environment are going to interact to create a phenotype. For example, in a height, if, say, in your developmental years when you were going through growth spurts, you weren't given a whole lot of nutrition, for whatever reasons, you weren't getting enough food, that could affect your height. Okay, same thing with weight. If you weren't getting enough food, your weight may stay down, or if you're getting too much food, your weight may go up. Sea turtles moms would come up on shore. They would bury their eggs in the sand. They would let them develop. The eggs that were put into a warmer environment would develop into females, and the males that were under the sand in a cooler environment would develop into females. And what this does is it ensures that you're getting about the same number of males and females produced with the hatches, keeping the numbers about even between males and females. They'll hatch, they'll go back out to sea, and they'll repeat the process, this whole reproductive process, when they are adults. But environment and the genes that you inherit are going to interact to create phenotypes. Okay, so what we're going to do after this is you are going to go to the 7-2 worksheet, which is on Blackboard. fill that out, complete it, and submit it to Blackboard before 7:30 a.m. before our next class.